Yeah, hi again. Yeah, I thought this time I would talk through some of the security features on the bike. Unfortunately, my previous build, the IDP Z8, was stolen. I think rationalising after that was partially because I was leaving it locked up in the same place every day because I was using it to commute, and unfortunately that presented an opportunity for the miscreants to get an angle grinder, and knowing that I wouldn't be attending the bike for the best part of 8 hours, twixt locking it up and then collecting it at the end of my working day. Anyway, so that kind of has me quite heightened when it comes to security. So I don't leave this bike unattended outside of earshot or line of sight, which, as you can imagine, is slightly paranoid. But hey, so yeah. So security wise. Physical locking. Well, the first bit is behavioural. Yeah, uh, don't leave it in your bike if you can help it. Same place every day for a number of hours, etc. It unfortunately presents an opportunity for a thief to tool up and knowing that they have the time to steal the bike. Okay, behaviour to one side. Physical lock. So I have, in no particular order, a handlebar lock, and not really a handlebar but brake lock. So that basically secures the brake to the handlebar, and so the bike can't physically be rolled anywhere. It's it's bright orange, but it's also a bit of a visual deterrent, because it kind of points to, well, the bike is secured at that functional mode. The other is a diamond rated U-lock, and that physically secures the bike to an immovable object. Again, it's diamond rated. I suspect an angle grinder could get through it in about 10 or 15 minutes, albeit very noisily. But what I have also found is that in London, at least, it really doesn't matter. People aren't going to intervene. So it's really to secure your bike, but it won't deter an angle grinder for more than, I think, 10 or so minutes. But yeah, that's the world we live in. So that's physical lock number two. The bike, I think I pointed out, is kind of a 250 watt motor, and that puts it in the range where it can be insured. And yeah, you can see a yellow tag there. The bike is insured, so should the very, very worst happen, I'll have a redress. I couldn't do that on the 750 because we gave them make and model number, and initially they say, well, actually we can't insure it because it falls outside of the EAPC regs, so that this bike normally stays within it. Okay, so that's kind of the physical side, and also the insurance side. Okay, so then comes the alarms. So the bike has built into it, also point, a vibration alarm. I won't turn it on because it will wake up people in the building. But yeah, so that is activated off of my key fob, and it has a very annoying alarm. That alarm is actually built into the bike. You'd have to know where a set of screws are or nuts are to remove the seat, and then in order to pull that alarm out of the bike. And that's going to take you some time to do that while this thing's blaring away. The next piece is the trackers. So yeah, the bike has a number of trackers on it. So there's one there, and then there's several other ones buried in the bike. So I can see physically where the bike is. Well, there's no surprises to me because it's either at home or where I've located it, but it also tracks in real time its location. So interesting feedback is I can see the routes I've taken and time taken to particular locations, etc. So they're the kind of layers of security, plus ones I haven't discussed, that give me a degree of confidence when it comes to, dare I say, holding on to the bike. I must say that the vibration alarm's come into its own a number of times where people have kind of been curious and have touched the bike, and it's beeped to tell them there's an alarm on it, and that's startled them, and then they've kind of moved away from it, etc. And also when the bike's parked up and secured to an immovable object, and someone's then parked their bike maybe a little bit too close, or tried to get their bike parked in very close and nudged the bike, and it's gone into alarm, and so they've chosen maybe somewhere else to lock their bike up. So yeah, security, I'm afraid, for all bikes is a factor of life. Unfortunately for this one, because it is slightly striking, I've had to put several layers of physical, electronic, and also behavioural, to name but a few, to try and keep it basically within my possession. There you go, the world we live in. But there's just a few ideas. My advice is to, security is about layers, and talk to, say, making it very visible, hence that handlebar lock, physical, attached to something that's immobile. An alarm for it being touched or nudged, and then trackers on top of that so you can see where the bike is. The unfortunate piece on even though you have trackers, I had a tracker on my other bike, is that in the UK at least, the police don't prioritise bike theft. So even though you can say, well, I can tell you exactly where the bike is now, I'm afraid it's a civil matter, and you basically have to give the bike up, or if you're so inclined, to pursue the location to try and retrieve the bike yourself, which again comes with the risk of physical harm. So hence insurance to placate, as it were, on the costs front. Anyway, I hope that overview's been helpful in terms of what you can do to try and keep your bike secure. Okay.